Alrighty, what is up you guys? My name is Edgar and welcome to Go Fast RC. Today we are going to be showing you, or you guys are going to be seeing, how to tear apart your brakes on a Tmaxx 2.5. Cameron, this is for you, dude. I know that I said I was going to post it on the 21st, but I honestly got busy and I got caught up with those right there. And I actually started going to the track recently a lot too, so I've been doing that as well. Also, I'm lazy, so yeah. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys the bare minimum that you need to do to redo your brakes on your Tmaxx. It's not super hard, it's just a little bit time consuming because there's a couple of things that you got to do to take them out. So I'm going to be showing you guys the most basic, most straightforward thing that you guys have to do in order to get your brakes done on the Tmaxx. So let's do that. Bam. Wow, that's really easy. Yeah, editing. So first thing that you're going to want to do whenever you are doing your brakes is you're going to have to take your transmission out. There's no way to do your brakes without taking out your transmission. So that's going to be the first thing that you're going to want to do, is take out your transmission. And when you take out your transmission, you're also going to want to remove your linkages for your brake and throttle, which it's not super hard. So let's do that. Alright, there we go. So we have our transmission loose. And pretty much, you guys can see right there, just like that, nice and loose. Alright, so now you're going to want to take a 1.5 screwdriver or drill bit or whatever you use as a 1.5. You're going to want to take off this first collar right here on your servo for your throttle. And then you're going to want to take this guy off right here. Your brake, the collar that goes directly to your brake, you're going to want to take that off as well. The next thing you want to do is move your servo out in the open car position and then slide your linkage out of there. And then you want to pick up your transmission, grab yourself your wrench. So in order to get this transmission out without taking the skid plate off, you're going to have to find your little out drive for the rear end of the truck. You can access it through this hole right here. It's a little hard to see in there, but you can, if you guys can see it, you guys can. And you can just take that out, get your drive line off and out of the way so you can pick up your transmission and get it out. Once you get your screw out, just flip over the truck and try your best to get it out without dropping anything. Then you can slide your drive shaft out of the way. It'll be poking down like that. And again, keep your stuff organized. And then you can just lift up your transmission like that. There you go. Now you guys can see my transmission needs to be cleaned actually, because I didn't take it out last time I cleaned this thing. And actually my brakes are dragging. Alright, so as you guys can see here, my brakes, they are kind of tight. I need to regap them. So let me show you guys how to get your brake pads off and also how to get your disc off. Which, on the 2.5, it's kind of silly how they did the brakes. Especially if you have an original, like, early 2000s Tmaxx, like this one is right here. Then your brakes are going to be kind of cattywampus. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is remove these two screws right here. And it's not super hard, you just have to take these two screws out. They go into the discs. So all I have to do is take these out right here. Alright, so next thing that you're going to want to do after that is remove your brake pads right here. So there's one, and there's two. And then after that, your disc, it just slides off this hex right here. And then there you go. So there are your brakes completely disassembled. I'm going to resurface my brakes because they're kind of glazed over from the heat and stuff, and whenever your brakes get glazed over, they're not as good as they once used to be. So whenever you're doing this, just take some sandpaper and get rid of all that glaze that's on the disc. Don't do it too much, or else you'll make the disc of the, otherwise you'll make the face of the disc uneven. So there you go. Whenever you do that, your fingers are going to get kind of messy from the brake disc. You can just wipe them off with a towel or something like that. It's no big deal. But there you go. Now you have your resurfaced brake disc, just like that. And to install them, it's pretty much just all the steps in reverse. Put your brake disc back on. Put your brake pads on. And then you can grab your screw. That keeps everything in place. Mount one in with your fingers. And then you can do the other one with your fingers, just so that way everything stays in its place when you go and grab your screwdriver. You can just tighten everything down with a screwdriver. Now whenever you're tightening down your brakes on these trucks, you don't want to tighten them down too much. So let me show you what happens when you tighten them down too much. Now this, it's not tight at all. This is not tight at all. And look, you can hear the friction. Now when you're tightening down brakes, you do not want to tighten them down super tight, and this is why. You can hear that. So if you tighten them down too tight, the brake pads will actually rub on the disc like you are engaging your brakes. You do not want that to happen under normal driving, because that can cause your engine to overheat because it's working too hard. It can cause you undue stress on everything. So just make sure you do it right whenever you're tightening up your brake disc. So you kind of just want to tighten it down to where it almost locks up, and just keep on loosening it until you get it where you like it. I kind of like mine to move free like this, zero resistance at all, just like that. And there's not too much gap right there. You also want to check your gap. Make sure you don't have a super big gap in between your brake disc and your brake pads, because if you leave too big of a gap and your servo doesn't travel enough, then your brakes won't engage. Now we can reinstall our transmission. So whenever you're reinstalling your transmission, if you took it apart the way that I showed you, you're gonna want to make sure that you have your drive line in your transmission aligned with your drive line that's going to your front end. And whenever it's aligned, it should just slide right in. These are keyed drive shafts. These are keyed drive lines, so you don't want to just force them together, otherwise they won't flex. And it should just slide in nice and easy like this. There you go. So now you just have to screw in your drive shaft, which is not hard. It's super simple. Screw it in just like that. There you go. Your drive shaft is now installed. Now we get to reinstall and screw the transmission in on the bottom like we did on the first step. Alright, there you go. So now that your transmission is installed nice and tight and whatnot, now you get to reinstall your linkages. So the first thing that I like to do when reinstalling is do my throttle linkage. So I just kind of move my throttle linkage out of my antenna's way, and then I move my servo just like that. Before I install my brakes and throttle linkages, I like to get my radio, turn it on, and then power the truck on, so that way I can find where my servo is at, so I can put them back on. I don't know why I'm spacing on the word, but I guess I am. So that'll be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.